All right, for more on this breaking news, Colorado throwing Donald Trump off the ballot, saying he is disqualified for having participated in insurrection. Let's bring in former RNC chair and MSNBC political analyst Michael Steele and Democratic strategist and MSNBC contributor Fernand Amandi. Thank you both for being here. I'm going to go to you first, Michael Steele, because we were talking about it in the break. I'm going to bring our off-the-break conversation online. The six conservatives on the Supreme Court, in many ways, are Republicans quite openly. They go for Republican outcomes. How likely is it that they pull off the perfect crime? Republicans in the House, Republicans in the Senate, Republicans in the state are too afraid to rid themselves of Donald Trump. They couldn't do it on impeachment. They were too scared to vote to impeach him. They had 2 shots. They couldn't do it. This would be the perfect crime, wouldn't it? For John Roberts to do the work that Mitch McConnell is too afraid to do. Will they do it?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I just don't think there's that level of calculation in this. I think Justice Roberts, more than anything else, would very much try to temper that approach to this case when it gets to the court the next week or so. It's just a matter of understanding the politics is something that he's tried very hard to keep outside the door. He's not been happy to the extent that Alito and others, Thomas included, have kind of brought that into the court. So I think what'll be interesting, what I'm looking at is going to be how the strict constructionists, because you touched on this in the earlier segments, how they actually apply strict constructionism to the 14th Amendment, because we all know why it was put in place. And we know who it applies to. It's not some nebulous thing. It was to cover those who tried to overthrow the government through war at that time, insurrection, and the Civil War. That seems pretty much kind of the playbook here, right? Overturning an election result, preventing the free exercise of that vote by the citizens. And getting the Congress, putting the Congress in a perilous position. So I think that's what I'm going to watch for. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of knots the Clarence Thomases of the world tie themselves into to get Donald Trump off of the hook that 2 courts have now placed the Supreme Court, and particularly Donald Trump.
Yeah, for sure. Fernand, how does this then impact the thinking of Democrats? Because Joe Biden's hold on the nomination and people's disinterest in primarying him, jumping into the race, is really based on Donald Trump and this confidence that Democrats have that Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump because of Donald Trump. What happens if Donald Trump can't get on the ballot in more than one swing state?
Well, Joy, if that happens, I think it does open up questions on both sides, frankly, both for the Democrats and for the Republicans. I think at that point, you might even see some folks try and get back in this race. At that point, does Tim Scott, who suspended his campaign, say, well, maybe I'll give it a second look? Does someone like Ted Cruz try and launch a last-minute gallop for the nomination? It opens up all sorts of questions. But look, let me kind of put it into the context I see happening. I know we're in the holiday seasons, and I hate to be a Christmas Grinch just 4 days away, but spoiler alert, the Supreme Court is not going to invalidate Donald Trump from being on the ballot. This is going to be the nominee for the Republican Party. And what I do think this decision does serve for the country. First, it's kind of an appeal from the gaslighting. All of us saw with our own eyes what happened in the run-up to January 6th, then on January 6th, and in the aftermath. Donald Trump led an insurrection. A court now, without fear or favor, has made that declaration clear. The good news about that, Joy, is what I think it does for 2024. In full relief and in full stark terms, it makes this election about what it needs to be and should be and must be. This election is not about the economy. It's not about immigration. It's not about reproductive rights. It's not about Ukraine or Israel. This election is about whether or not the American experiment in representative democracy and the republic continues, or it ends and is turned into an authoritative fascist movement led by Donald Trump, who has said not once but twice that on day one he intends to be a dictator. And that is a framing that I don't believe Donald Trump and the Republican Party can win. If it stays on those terms, if this Colorado Supreme Court decision does nothing else in history but makes the demarcation point for the election in 2024 to be defined between a choice between democracy and dictatorship, then it will have done the service to country, and it will have served as a guardrail, the fight to protect our democracy.
I will note for our audience that many of the plaintiffs, the named plaintiffs in the suit, are Republicans, one who worked for the former governor. And to Fernand's very clear point, the question on the ballot is, can a twice adjudicated insurrectionist become the president of the United States? Pretty clear question. Michael Steele, Fernand Amandi, thank you both very much.